Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Nadège Minois is a self-employed coach with a background in academia and research. She has experience of networking on both sides of the English Channel. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Nadège.
Thank you very much, Liz, for having me on your podcast. It's a great honor to be here.
Now, I know that you're currently a self-employed coach, but you've got a very interesting background and very academic background. So tell me about what your qualifications are in and what you've done in the past.
Yes, of course. No, that's right. Yes, it was quite a circuitous route to get into being self-employed consultant now. Yes. So I began in biology. Yes, basically, almost as soon as I began having kind of relatively serious biology classes at school, I realized I liked it a lot. And so I decided to go into biology for my university studies. And that get me to PhD level. You know, every year I was getting the new degree. And I said, well, I'll keep on going. Until actually I got a PhD, and then I spent 15 years doing some research and teaching. And that actually led me to the next stage in my professional life, because obviously a lot of research is about, being in a lab or somewhere in the field doing some experiments. But it's also managing projects, because you have to organize everything around the research, and usually with teams in different universities, different countries. And I realized I liked that project management part a lot. So at some point, my circumstances changed and said, well, why don't I take that opportunity to change career path and go into project management? And so it's then that I got another set of qualifications in project management, this time various methodologies and things like that. And I did that for 7-8 years. And then I began my business. And so where I decided to use my expertise and experience in project management to help small business. And so finally, that's where I am at the moment, and you never know where the future is going to lead me again.
And so have you done training and qualifications in coaching?
Yes, I'm also a qualified coach. That's right. Yes, I've got, several qualifications. So workplace coaching, group coaching. As part of my coaching, I am also a neuro-linguistic programming NLP practitioner. And so I still use, when I interact with people and in my work, I still use quite a bit that coaching approach.
Now, listeners will be able to hear from your accent that you're French and you're in France currently, but you've lived in the UK as well, haven't you?
Yes, I've lived in the UK for 13 years, in Scotland, yes. Now, I actually spent overall 24 years of my adult life outside France.
Yeah.
And yes, I lived in the USA, in Germany, Austria, and the UK, yes.
So are you back in France for good now, do you think?
At the moment, yes, but I never say never. So I would say at the moment the plan is yes, to stay in France, yes.
Yeah. And so what was it that really attracted you to coaching, do you think?
I think it was the respect, if I can say, in the interaction. with other people when you coach. You really try to understand the other people. You don't tell them what they're supposed to do, how they're supposed to do it. You really treat them as equal, that they are the best place to understand their own situation and understand what is actually best for them. So I really like that approach.
So who are the people that you coach? Is there a specific type of person or type of business that they work in?
So because I work mostly with basically small businesses, that is, businesses who do not have project management expertise in-house, I work usually mostly with the business owner.
Yeah.
And so that will be the target, to really look at the business holistically and how that person approaches the business. So that would be mostly the people. But then also when I work with team, because obviously when you do a project, there is a team, even if it's a very small business and the team might be 2 or 3. You also need to understand that team dynamic and do use coaching to make sure that you can improve what they can improve that going forward when they deliver projects for the business.
And are there any sort of particular sectors that you like to work in?
So I would say, given my background both in biology and project management, I would say that my heart kind of goes towards biotechnology companies and life sciences related companies. But I'm not, so I'm particularly targeting these businesses, but it doesn't mean that, I completely close the door to other businesses that would need my help.
Yeah. Yeah. And where are your clients? I mean, given that you've lived in lots of different places, are your clients also in lots of different places?
Yes, that's right. I still work internationally because it can be done online. So I work internationally, and so it's actually mostly kind of local, France and UK, because it's here that I have most connections, that I network the most. And so yes, mainly these 2 places.
Yeah. And do you find that there are sort of particular issues that people come to you with? Is there something that happens that they suddenly think, oh, I need a coach, and then they find you?
So usually is that they realize that they have this idea that they try to basically get off the ground and get launched in the business, and 6 months along the line there's nothing. They want to launch a new product, I don't know, they want to redo their website, or whatever project it could be, but they don't seem to be able to basically achieve that because they don't have clarity on what to do, on how to do it. So they're wasting time, they're wasting money, they're wasting their people's energy. And so that's one symptom, definitely. Sometimes the other symptom I see is the kind of shiny object syndrome. So, a business owner seeing one thing and say, oh, that looks great, I'm going to do that in my business. And 2 weeks later, talking to someone, say, oh, wow, how interesting. I think I'm going to do that in my business. And because in small businesses, it's very easy to make a decision. It's not like in big corporation, where it might take months before anything is decided. In a small business, a business owner can change their mind from one day to the next.
Yeah.
And so they keep on beginning things which a lot of the time are not the right things for the business, and then basically it goes nowhere and the business doesn't grow. So these are the two main symptoms I see.
Yeah. And what kind of results are your clients seeing after they've been working with you?
So mostly the concrete things that they can see is that they have processes, they have systems, they have tools that work for them, for their business. Because this is what I mostly do. I assess the business, the people in the business, their goal, how they do things, and then we work together to design what will be best for the business to deliver their project. So in terms of processes, of systems, of maybe tools that they need, and so see what works with them. So what the result is clarity about the whole thing. When they have an idea for a new project, they know how to assess that idea to see is it a good one for the project, then assess if they have the resources or when will they have the resources to do it, and then when they decide to do it, they have the right processes and system to plan everything and really do it on the ground as efficiently as they can, given the resources, the time they have.
Yeah. And how long would you typically work with a company for?
So it is company specific, and it basically it depends, because I have a kind of tiered approach. And if it's just a few tweaks, so after assessing the business, and we know already from preliminary discussions that it will be a few tweaks here and there to improve things, it can be relatively quick. It can be a few days, and so getting it done, maybe a week or two. But if it requires more work, and that we decide that we'll do together the design of the whole strategy on how to improve, and then implement that strategy together, we're talking in terms of months. We talk about probably 3 to 6 months. And then there can be some regular follow-up, because things change, and what is put in place 6 months ago may not be exactly what is needed now. So regular follow-up also are available to check that everything is still okay and change what needs to be changed.
Yeah. And how many clients would you be working with at any one time?
So if it is for the full implementation, not more than 3 clients at a time. Definitely, yeah, because I want to give proper attention.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
And so how do you find your clients? Is that through networking?
Mostly through networking, yes, that's right.
Yeah. And was networking something that you did before you became a coach? I mean, presumably when you were in academia, you went to conferences.
Yes, that's right. I hadn't thought about that as networking. But yes, obviously, I was regularly going to conferences, and either just going as an attendee or giving presentation, and so yes, definitely it was already networking. So I guess I began then when I was a scientist. Yes. Then when I switched to project management, no, I have to say much less, much less. But then, yeah, when I began my business, and really when I began going full time on my business, because I was a kind of next to my full-time job to begin with, so I didn't have much time for networking. But yes, yeah, when I began my business, it's then that I say, okay, I've got to network again. And the first networking event I found was a local one when in the city where I was working in Scotland, which at the time was Dundee.
Yeah.
And actually the networking event was along the River Tay. So it was walk and talk, I think it was called. And so basically you were going out for a walk over lunch along the river. So that was a very nice type of networking.
That sounds great, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. They stopped when COVID hit, and
Yeah.
it went online, unfortunately.
So tell me about other kinds of networking that you've done.
So most of my networking is online. And if not here, when I moved back to France at the end of 2022, I began networking locally. And so networking is it's either kind of networking groups or kind of association of small businesses. I've also been networking here into kind of technology parks, associations in technology parks, and I've been giving presentation about project management to them, and so it's relatively varied.
Yeah. Do you think there are differences between the networking in the UK and the networking in France?
Yes, there are. Well, first I would say it's difficult to judge because, well, a big difference is that I began networking in earnest during COVID. So basically all the networking I've done in the UK was online, and of course when
yeah.
I moved to France it was still online. Then the networking I do here, it's more local, so it's in person. So it's hard to judge. I'm kind of comparing pears and apples
Yes.
here. So so it's a bit difficult. But if not, definitely I have the feeling that in the UK, people are just more used to networking. In France, it's not as widespread. There are fewer groups. I haven't seen really networking groups per se. So it's definitely different.
Yeah. And so what is it that you like about networking?
Meeting people. Definitely meeting people, and either, you always meet new people, but when you go regularly to the same networking events, building relationships with the people you see over time in these networking events. So definitely that's a big appeal.
Yeah. So one last question for you, Nadège. If people want to get in touch with you and find out more about your business, what is the best place for them to find you?
So the best place would be LinkedIn, and on my LinkedIn profile. If people do not use LinkedIn, they also can contact me, so either through my website at www.coaching-vision.com, or directly email me at Nadège, Nadege, at coaching-vision.com.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for being my guest today.
Oh, thank you very much, Liz. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.